Well, anyway, guys, over on this side, we actually saw this building on the map. You might have to come a little bit more this way, guys, on the sun so you can see this. We'll come back to the shade in a minute. But that building over there, guys, that's the alarm system that I showed you on the map. Okay? If you look over at the roof, on the right corner of the roof, you're going to see that cone I was talking about. And so that's where the sound is created. As the wind is forced out through that cone, it creates that strong sound as if someone is blowing out from a horn. That's how strong it sounds like, okay? And depending on the intensity or how loud the sound is too, people would know how close the hurricane was to as well. So that's how they would measure the closeness of the hurricane. Now, if you walk a little more this way, guys, you're gonna see right between all the trees, all the palm trees, there's this little window just standing there on top of the cliff. Do you guys see that from over here? Yeah. Just right over there, guys. Okay, you might have to walk a little more this way to see it, but it's just right there, straight ahead between the trees. Now let's come back to the shade, but these windows are scattered all over the city. We have at least 16 windows all over Tulum, guys. And in those windows, the Mayas used them as astronomical markers, we call them. An astronomical marker. Now, what is an astronomical marker? It's basically a window where on specific days of the year, either the sun or the moon would shine right through it or align right through it, align with the walls of those windows. There's plenty of them all over the site. Let me show you a few of them, guys. I have a couple of pictures here. Some happen on the equinoxes of the year, for example, in March 21st, or some happen in the solstices, like this one that we have in front of us, happens on December 21st, which happens to be one of the longest nights of the year. This is what it looks like. My picture's pretty old, but you can kind of get the idea, right? This is where the window is, and that's the moon aligning with the window.
And is that from a certain lookout point?
Pretty much from where we are right now.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where they took the picture from. Let me see, I think I have a few more. So here we have some other ones, guys. But they're all over the city. Some of them are even kind of like part of a temple or a building, like what we're seeing on these two right here. But they're all over the site, guys. Okay? Back in 1987, NASA declared that the Mayas were the most advanced astronomers of all time. Okay? And one of the main reasons why was because they say that the Mayas discovered before many cultures around the world that our world revolved around the sun. Okay? It was that simple. If you guys think about Europe, for example, after the Dark Ages, how long did it take them to figure that out? Almost 1,500 years. It wasn't until Galileo Galilei came up with all the theories of the world not being flat and the world being round and all those things, and then later on he came up with the theory that the world revolved around the sun, and people thought he was crazy. What happened to Galileo Galilei? He was killed. Yeah, he was first incarcerated, but later on he was tortured and killed for believing all these things. Well, in the Book of Mormon, guys, this is one of the main
testifiers? Or?
Yeah, one of the main testifiers, exactly. If you guys go into Helaman, chapter 12, verse 14 and 15, it specifically mentions that they knew that the sun standeth still and that earth went around the sun. And so you find that same principle of astronomy in Nephite culture, guys, in Nephite knowledge, we could say. So it's interesting that NASA said that about the Mayas when the people of the Book of Mormon, around the same time the Mayas had discovered that, the Nephites also had that same common knowledge. Now, another thing also really interesting, if you guys go into Helaman, it talks a lot about astronomy. It talks about how they were tracking the positions of the sun, and later on they understood how long a day was. Have you guys ever heard of the Mayan calendar before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Mayan calendar? Yeah, 2012, right? Everyone thought it was going to be the end of the world and all this nonsense, right? It was really Hollywood, guys, that, they produced that movie. Have you guys watched 2012, the movie? No? It's a pretty bad movie. But it talks about, the Mayas predicting the end of the world and the world, getting destroyed and all that. But anyway, the Mayas had a calendar that had 365 days, okay? Just like our calendar. You know how you come up with a calendar of 365 days? It's very simple, guys. All you have to do is track the positions of the sun. Exactly what the Nephites were doing in Helaman, okay? Like, let's say you guys had a GoPro and you had it automated, so it takes pictures of the sun every single day at the same exact time. How long is it going to take for the sun to appear in the initial point?
28. Oh, 300.
Yeah, 365 days. It's going to take 365 days. So it's that simple. All you have to do is just track the positions of the sun and the moon to figure out a calendar of 365 days. And that's how the Mayan calendar worked as well. Okay, so all those principles of astronomy, all the techniques that they use, to keep track of time, to keep track of the days and the years and the months and all that they did in the scriptures, we see that here in the Mayan culture. The Mayan calendar was actually one of the most precise calendars of all time. Their last day had they added on 6 hours to the last day. And you know why?
Leap year.
To avoid the leap year, exactly. That way, after 4 years, you don't have to add in an extra day because it's already consumed by the extra 6 hours that your year has. So it's pretty, interesting that they did that, right? So anyway, guys, all that it's here with the Mayas as well. Now we're gonna continue.